Hey there! Welcome back to Video Game Club Podcast, Episode 5. The game this week is called Submerged Hidden Depths HD. It's a sailing collectathon with an interesting story and puzzle-focused gameplay. Sit back and relax. Let's get into it. Alright, so Submerged Hidden Depths. Actually, Submerged
Yes.
2, technically.
Actually, it is. Yeah, it's technically the second one.
Quite an interesting game. The first thing I thought of whenever you like get into actually playing, like the meat of the game, is like this is basically Wind Waker with no combat.
Yeah, I actually thought of the same thing. I thought this is just Wind Waker, Legend of
Yeah.
Zelda Wind Waker. Especially when you find those things like the relics where you like hook them. It's
Oh yeah.
exactly like Wind Waker.
Yeah, where you're like going fishing, basically.
You do the like little animation too, where you're like
Throws in an
throwing it down
anchor and
and it
yeah.
catches, and you bring it up. It's like, oh, you got this thing.
Oh yeah, it was the
Yeah,
thing that I wrote
it's
down was
like,
Wind Waker meets Moana, actually.
oh yeah, that makes
Just
sense.
for if you like see this game, it's like Waterworld. It's like a modern day world that has been covered by water, basically. There are no other beings, or at least no other humans that are around. There are creatures. I wouldn't say that they're actually like really creatures though.
Not really. There's birds for sure, though.
Yeah, you can like
Definitely like
discover them
pigeons.
and write them down. But they like all basically, if you get close to them, they dissolve into like
They like
leaves.
they like disappear. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
There are
weird.
pigeons though.
Yeah, that's
Plenty
true.
of pigeons. Like
Uh,
real pigeons too, not the fake ones like these
right.
animals.
But basically, this is like a collectathon on the ocean
Kinda,
where you
yeah.
have several things that you're looking to collect. The goal of the game is, or I suppose the loose plot of the game is that you were kicked out of your village for being the way that you are, which is touched
Well,
by the black
yeah, I
plant
was
or
gonna
something
say
like that,
given a gift by the black plant
which
or
is what
something.
I guess destroyed the world. Um, I suppose. Uh, and or made all this happen, and so but instead of being like infected by this thing, you anytime you go near it, you turn it from like gooey
Black
black sludge tentacle monster to like
green plant.
healthy green,
Green
yeah, like
vine
vine
plant.
and like flowers and all this stuff. So you have to like collect all of these beads, these big beads, and
I
then
think they were seeds,
yeah,
like big
seeds, there you
big
go,
seeds.
and then put them back where they're supposed to be. Um, and that's basically the goal of the game. Is you're trying to essentially restore what was from what currently is, and we'll talk about like the story implications later, because I'd say that there are quite a few things you can infer from the story, because it's definitely environmental storytelling quite a bit, but not so much as. Can you hear me?
And we're back.
I have returned. Okay, well, I was talking about how basically the gameplay loop, so to speak, is to get the seeds, return them back to where they
Yeah,
go,
okay,
and
yeah.
then yeah, it's
We
there's
had to
quite a
get the
bit of
seeds.
environmental storytelling that we can go over later, but um, there is still
Hurry.
there's still like there's still plenty of like conversations. They're not technically in English, but there are subtitles. There are conversations that happen between the two main characters, and they have quite a few interactions that are that push the story forward. And then eventually, once the big creature comes out of its slumber, then you have to sort of deal with the
Yeah,
implications of that.
the
And
creature.
yeah, so um But yeah, I mean, before we say anything, I'm just gonna say that you're playing as the sister, but the brother's really the main hero of the story. uh, just
Kinda,
judging
yeah.
by
Um,
like all the things that he does. Um,
actually, you do play as him a
yeah,
few
you do.
times.
Yeah, there are some puzzles where you play as
There are
him
some
instead of her.
other um places, like areas that you get off the boat onto that you play as him instead.
Yeah, most of the journal entries that are just like single journal entries are just
Yeah, the solos.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so that is most of the gameplay. It's yeah, I mean it's pretty
That's the
much like
main gameplay, yeah.
it's mainly you just go into an area and that area is got a bunch of collectibles and you collect them, you get the seed and then
You put the
you move
seed
to
where it's
the
supposed to be,
yeah,
where
you
it's
put the
supposed to
seed
go.
where it's supposed to go, and then you move to the next one, and you do that. There's 10 of them, and then you finish the game. That's the main game. But then outside of that, you have all of the relics, you have all of the towers, you have all of the journals
All
pages,
of the
which
boat
tells the story,
upgrades,
all the boat upgrades, all of the like I don't know what they were called, but like the sights to behold or something
oh,
like
the
that.
landmarks, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the landmarks. And like all of these things come together to sort of tell a story. I think one of my favorite things to having, see was the one of the landmarks was a metal roller coaster. And it
Mm,
was labeled the Serpent Spine,
nice.
which
I
is
I
funny.
f I found one that was, like, a bunch of, like, highway.
Hmm.
It was, like, tall highway,
Hmm.
and it was called the, Stone Ribbons.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
one was cool.
yeah. It's just it's like like whoever designed this world was like, what would our modern day things be called if they were relics of the very far past?
Yeah.
You know, like if
Yeah,
somebody
I mean,
dug them up and was like, what is this?
it's
Is
pretty
this,
rad.
is this a giant serpent spine? Like, whoa, that's crazy. It's pretty like unique way
Mhm.
to come at this sort of story, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so like going on to like visuals, it's it's cartoony, but it's not like hokey or cheesy. It's
No,
it's
no,
quite good.
it's
Um, the waves looked realistic. They handled
mhm.
realistically. Your boat it handled like a boat.
Yeah, like a boat. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, the visuals were all like quite
They were
stunning.
pretty nice, yeah.
i- at
Like,
the best of
they
times.
they I had a few frame drops while I was playing, but that's, that's par for the visuals that we saw, so
Well, I think it's a similar thing to like we talked about with Hob, where pretty much everything in the area is rendered, and since this world is gigantic and it's all
yeah,
3D textures,
pretty
uh,
much.
it's gonna be pretty hard on your system. So you know, if
I
you're
mean, I
running
don't
it
think
on high,
everything was rendered, but
not
because each of
yeah,
the areas were, like, separate, kind
right,
of, and I think every time you would, like, get off of your boat, it would load that section,
yeah, right, exactly. That is true, I suppose, but
but all the
for the
water
most
and
part,
stuff
I'd
was
say
was all
yeah.
rendered.
It was a pretty big amount that was rendered. It's not like we're rendering like a Skyrim map or like a Super Mario Galaxy or something like that, like the full
Yeah,
thing or something. Like no, it's a decent size, but it's not like an open world map, you know.
yeah,
Um, and it's mostly water, so I feel like that can be pretty lax on the system after a while. But a lot of the
mhm,
other textures are pretty intense if you get close enough. And there were weather patterns and a lot of the lights from the sky and fires.
yeah,
All the
shadows and etcetera,
yeah, they're all pretty. They're very well done. So I would give this big thumbs up for its visuals personally.
visuals. Yeah,
Um,
it was very good.
the only thing I thought was weird. and this is doesn't even detract from the game at all, is like the main characters. At the beginning I said that this looked like Twilight Princess, or not Twilight Princess, I'm sorry, Wind
Wind
Waker.
Waker,
Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and
Moana.
Moana. But the main characters were white. And I was like, I mean,
Were
I
they?
guess it oh yeah, they were definitely like very light skinned. And like there's
Okay.
nothing wrong with this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't detract or add or anything to the story or the gameplay or anything. I just thought that, like, I don't know. It felt like,
They'd be a bit like tan, you know?
yeah, it felt like a like on the water nomadic person story would end up being like Pacific Islanders or something like that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
hmm
But they weren't, which is
I mean,
fine. I
even
just
if they weren't Pacific Islanders, they definitely get tanned enough to look like them, right?
yeah, right. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it doesn't really matter. But I just thought that was just a
No,
it
it
was a
doesn't. But
decision or maybe a lack of decision. But it doesn't really matter. Just something I figured I would point out. Um, but yeah, I mean,
I didn't notice that at all. I
yeah, it's okay. It's not
just
something to
played.
really notice. I guess the other thing, I guess it's not really much, but the visuals, while they were good, they weren't anything like extra special.
Yeah,
Um, they were pretty like solidly above average, but nothing like
nothing like
extremely good.
phenomenal, you know.
Right? Yeah. Um, but yeah. So what about like the puzzles? Did you have any like troubles or
Um,
like
not
struggles finding
not
anything?
struggles. It was there was a few times where I was like running around looking for the next like path to go because I didn't really find them to be puzzles per se. It was more of like kind of like a linear path,
Hmm.
sort of. And then there was a few branching paths, like a tree branch kind of.
Hmm.
You go the one main way,
You gotta
and
backtrack and then
then there
go
was a few branching paths for the collectibles.
right. Yeah, and
But like there wasn't really a like a puzzle really. It was kind of just like, oh, look where you need to go next.
right. Go here, do this thing, and like continue doing that thing until you finish. The only thing was is obviously if you got to the end with the seed in like some sort of the bigger levels, but you didn't collect everything. If you put the seed where it was supposed to go into its little
Yeah,
like flower
it
bed,
takes you to a cutscene and you go back to the like main hub.
right? And so if you want to go back and collect things, you have to like go
You have to
start that area
travel.
again.
Yeah, you have to travel back there. Which
Which
actually there was a fast travel.
yeah, but I mean
You
it's
could
still kind
fast
of
travel to
annoying,
completed
honestly.
ones.
There were definitely times where I just like dropped it next to the end and then like went exploring back at the
Yeah,
beginning just because I was like, I don't want to be done yet. I gotta get everything, you know.
yeah.
A lot of the things were kind of unnecessary, like the outfits or the hairstyles or the boat outfits, the boat
hmm
styles, I guess. Um, all
Just
completely
makes it kind of neat.
unnecessary, but I wanted to get them because, you know, I don't know,
Just
I
because,
just wanted to.
just the desire, the
it felt
need
it
to
felt
get
very
everything.
rewarding to get things in this game. So yeah, I mean, the one thing this definitely succeeded on was being a collectathon that wanted you to collect things. It didn't really
Yeah, yeah.
hide stuff.
Each different collectible made a different sound.
Yeah. Yeah, it
It
didn't really
was
like hide
pretty
things
nice.
from you. It just kind of was like there's more stuff if you want it. you know?
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very light on the puzzles. This like Hob is definitely a very relaxing game. It's very
very
cozy,
relaxing.
very
Like
like
probably more relaxing than Hob because this has no combat.
yeah, no combat at all. There's no combat mechanics, no nothing. It's just like even at the point where the big creature comes alive and starts stalking
Nah,
around.
it just does nothing.
Yeah, he just stands
Just
there and
walks
like
around.
stares at you intimidatingly.
You
He's
can drive your
standing
boat
there
right up. You can drive
menacingly.
drive your boat right up to him, and you just phase through.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
weird.
which yeah
But
is definitely
when it was
strange.
walking around and you were doing one of the, later, like, seed puzzles, he just stands there and stares,
Yeah, I think
watches you do it.
the last one that I did, he was just outside like watching me the whole time, and I was like, okay, this
Mhm.
is creepy, but like, is he gonna attack or like I don't
Nah.
know, but he didn't. So if you're
Even in the, like, end sequence, he didn't really attack.
yeah
You just kinda, you know, did
yeah
your thing, kept
basically.
going.
So if you're looking at this game and you think there's any sort of like horror at all, or if you think there might be based on anything, no, cozy
Nah.
game, very cozy, very just
It's a it's a
chill.
it's a it's a boating outing. You
Yeah,
just go boating,
basically. Um,
collect some things, go more boating.
so lastly is the story, which has like a little bit you could derive from it because, like I said, it's environmental storytelling, and then obviously
Mhm.
the story between the two. So the story between the two that they explain is they get kicked out of
Yeah.
their home. Uh, while they're getting
I thought
kicked out, the
I thought
brother,
I thought their home gets destroyed.
maybe, but they get either way they
Their,
get
like,
exiled.
original home got destroyed, and then,
Maybe I
um,
misread that. Maybe that's what
I don't know.
happened, but uh, all I know is that they got exiled, right?
They definitely got
And
exiled.
so they're going to like basically make themselves a new home, and in the middle of doing that, they're like, "Oh, but we can fix stuff." So like, all right, well let's go fix
Yeah.
stuff then.
At first, I think they started, like, looking around for other villages to join,
Hmm.
and, once they found out that she had her ability or gift, I guess,
Yeah,
um, they threw her out.
right. And so, but they like attacked them. They attacked these
Yeah.
kids on their way out, which meant that the brother like gets hurt. Like he's got scars all over him, one huge
Mhm.
scar in his belly, which is like, oh, like that by itself tells you that like he protected her, and there's like that kind of a like I
Yeah.
will never leave you bond, which is really
I mean,
interesting.
you gotta remember this is the second of a 2 game,
Right. Yeah, I
so,
don't know what
we
happened.
don't know what happens in the first game because we never played it.
Maybe yeah, I mean maybe that's what happens in the first one and we're just missing out. Maybe we have to go back and like replay this cuz or even like find it and play it
Find
because yeah.
the first one, yeah.
Um but yeah, and so they go through and then that progresses that storyline. That's generally what you find out about them is that they're extremely close and there's a very good reason for it. But
Mhm.
as for the story of the world, from what I understand, it was like there were some individual journals that I collected that implied that, um, like before the world was covered in water, there was this like prophet or something like that that was
Hmm,
sort of bringing about this what they called the black plant. And he was
okay.
basically telling them that they needed to like do this stuff for some reason and that it would be a good idea, which is I think what all that like that technology that was next to the
Oh, yeah,
seeds.
each
um
technology.
yeah, it was like hair
But it's
dryers, speakers,
some of them,
TVs,
yeah, like
uh
telephones.
telephones. Yeah, it was like all these different
One of them had, like,
technologies.
fans.
Yeah, fans is like simple. But they were told to like pile up all this stuff and then plug it into the seeds, but the seeds were removed from their original place, which leads me to
Yeah,
believe that like
which which
that
is a bad thing.
yeah, that was what was like either keeping these people alive or keeping the area like fertile with life, and then removing that and giving it to the black plant meant that it was like some kind of corruption, I guess. Um,
Yeah,
Unfortunately, due to time constraints, I didn't gather all of the journals. So
mhm,
if there's something that we're both missing, that's our fault.
yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, that's sort of like what I got from that.
yeah, that's pretty much Like, at least them removing the seeds is what probably, like, killed them all off.
Yeah. And then, of course, you put them back and it fixes things, or, sort of fixes
The
things,
all
brings the
the
life
black
back.
plant becomes not black anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, this is a really simple game. There's really not a lot to say. It was
No,
a good time. I enjoyed
it was
myself. I wanted to keep
it was
playing.
very short.
Yeah, I wanted to keep playing. And I probably will eventually go back and 100% this because I'm very close
Mhm.
to it. Just
I
because it's like collecting
I think
things.
I have a
It's
little
fun.
bit less, but it was still enjoyable to collect things.
Yeah.
So I probably might go back and do the same.
But yeah, I mean, do you have anything really else to say about this?
No, I think I'm good. What
Yeah, I
about
mean,
you?
if like if we give it any criticism, is that it might be like too simple. I don't, because
Yeah,
it's really just like run from here to
it might
there,
be. It
you know.
might be the only thing would be that it was too short. Be the only
Right.
criticism.
And
It's
I
kind of just
mean,
like
yeah.
you pick it up, play it for a few hours, and you're done with it, and then it's just like, okay, well, that was
All right, I did that. Great.
that's the thing. That's it.
Yeah. But I mean, all in all, not a bad experience.
Yeah, not at all.
If I had to give it a rating from a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it a solid like 7.5.
I'd give it a solid 8.
Yeah, I 7.5 myself, just cuz like I don't know if I'd
Okay.
play it again, but
Well,
I
once you
enjoyed my
100% it,
time.
I don't think you need to play it again
Yeah,
because once you do that, you have all the
all the
story
stuff.
and stuff, and
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, well, I got it.
Yeah, pretty much. You just deck out your little home and then you're like, "All right, that's it. I'm done." And then you leave. So,
Yep.
um if you don't have anything else, we can wrap this up.
Nope, I got nothing.
All right. Well, that is that. Our next game that we're going to be playing. Oh, I guess I should say that this can be found on Epic Games. We got it for free, as we have for almost all of the other games, or well, all the other games so
Actually,
far.
all of the other games we've played so far.
So this is Submerged Hidden Depths. Let's see how much this is. The first one's on there as well, just regular Submerged. It says for some reason that it's for mature audiences. I don't think that's true.
I
It goes for $30
don't
right
think
now. It is
that's
on
true.
sale for $2.99 until 2 days from now, but this won't be out at that point. So $30, $29.99. Probably the same on Steam. And then you can
Yeah,
get the
I think
first
the
game as
first one's
well.
on. I would probably recommend playing the first one first because obviously it's the first one for a reason.
It looks like it's
Um,
the
but
same sort
it
of
looks like it's a
gameplay.
similar kind of game.
Yeah. So it might be
But I don't know.
worth picking up
I haven't
first.
played it.
But yeah. So, all right.
But
That's
even if you didn't play the first one, this second one I think might be like either a self-contained story or
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
it
know.
seems
Might be
alone enough to where you could play it by itself. I mean, we did, and it
and
seems
kind of
fine.
figure out the story on your own. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Submerged Hidden Depths, the second game.
hmm
Um Next game is going to be Cube 2. That's QUBE 2.
With a
Got
period in between each letter because if you try to look up
reasons.
QUEBE, it doesn't come
Doesn't
up.
come up. So yeah, Q.U.B.E. dot and then 2. And that should be
Yep.
a good time. So, all right. Thank you for listening. See you guys
Yep.
later.
Thank you. Bye bye,
Have a good
everyone.
one. Bye.